Jaden McDaniels for the season with a fractured right hand after he punched a wall in frustration and faced the possibility that center Rudy Gobert could be suspended for Tuesday's Western Conference play-in game against the Lakers for striking teammate Kyle Anderson in a huddle, sources telling ESPN on Sunday night. The T-Wolves defeated the Pelicans to secure the 8th seed in the West, but team officials are weighing whether to keep Gobert off the trip to Los Angeles on Monday, sources are telling us. Stephen A., what do you think of all this?
Well, first of all, I think that the behavior was idiotic, and it's an embarrassment to the city of Minnesota and the Timberwolves organization that you're about to play in the play-in game, and this kind of divisiveness on the last game of the regular season is something that you allow to happen. Rudy Gobert had no business hitting Kyle Anderson, but Kyle Anderson did use the B word at him. That is true. Just what Adrian Wojnarowski reported, you could read Kyle Anderson's lip, and he did call him the B word, which is what made Rudy Gobert react to him that way. That being said, the real disappointment for me, I mean, that's embarrassing, that's juvenile, it's stupid, okay? And they should be ashamed of themselves for finding themselves in that situation. It happens in practice, it happens away from the cameras, but to be right in front of the cameras, nationally televised game, crowd right there in attendance, embarrassing. Jaden McDaniels, I know he's young. What the hell are you doing? I mean, you're going to go and break your hand because you're punching a wall. What could you possibly have been that upset about on the last game of the regular season? No, you got in a play-in game coming up, that you're going to go and punch a wall and break your hand and you miss the rest of the season. It's just dumb.
Costly decision.
It's just dumb, which is what Mike Wilbon said yesterday. Dumb, okay? It's a dumb, not calling them dumb. Dumb actions, dumb things to do. And it probably cost them. Ain't no way in my mind, unless Anthony Edwards goes berserk. Ain't no way in my, and Karl Anthony Towns, by the way. Ain't no way in my mind Lakers losing this play-in game in Minnesota.
All right. The play-in tournament kicks off tomorrow with the Hawks traveling to Miami to take on the Heat. The matchups that are set in the East include the 3-seed Sixers taking on the 6-seed Nets and the 4-seed Cavs hosting the 5-seed Knicks. Orange and blue skies, baby.
Yeah.
Kirk, I want to start with you. Any reason for concern for the top three in the East?
Hell yeah, it's some reason for concern, especially if you're the Boston Celtics. And I said this last week again when I was holding it down, Molly, for you and SA. If I'm the Boston Celtics, I'm praying that I don't see the Miami Heat in the first round. Just remember, we have to remind people, the world, Jimmy Butler, playoff Jimmy Butler, is a difference maker. The Jimmy Butler that I seen walk into the Garden and drop, I believe what it was, 46 in a Game 6 and take it to a Game 7 was a three-point shot away from actually sending Boston home. When I look at the Miami Heat and I look at Bam Adebayo and what he's been doing, and now I'm starting to see the culture and the chemistry starting to come together. I'm watching what happened last night with the OG UD. You have to be careful when you're dealing with a team like that at the 7th seed. You have to be careful when you got an experienced head coach in Eric Spoelstra and you have Joe Mazzulla, who's his first time making a run at it. You have to be careful with these type of situations. And if I'm Boston, I've been getting text messages, from my good friend Wick Grossbeck, and he's very upset with me right now. But guess what? At the end of the day, I don't give a damn. I'm getting paid to do my job and tell unbiased opinions. And I just don't want the Celtics to match up with the Miami Heat come this postseason in the first round.
Well, as an aside before I get into my point of view, what's Wick upset at you about?
Oh, he said I gave him fuel. He said I gave him motivation.
Oh, okay.
He said I gave him motivation.
All right, well, that's just he's just talking. He should be upset at people like me. You understand what I'm saying? Who's still ticked off at the Boston Celtics and how they handled the whole Ime Udoka situation. That's what he should be upset about, as a disgrace. But anyway, that's another subject for another day. Let me say this. I have no concerns for the top 3 seeds whatsoever. Zero. I'm not worried. Listen, I'm sorry. I just don't. Listen, I don't feel good about Miami this year. I mean, when I saw Udonis Haslem on, the last night of the regular season playing away, major props to him. Wish him nothing but the best. He's somebody I personally feel should have been in the front office years ago instead of in uniform on the bench. That's just my personal opinion. But it was nice to see them celebrate and honor him. It's the first good thing I've had to say about Miami all year. I just haven't been pleased with what I've been seeing. They've been a roller coaster as far as I'm concerned. This team that went to Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals, vastly underachieved. Now, you know me too long, Kendrick Perkins. You know me well enough to know I don't root against the Miami Heat. You know why. I mean, that is understood universally across the globe.
Mr. LA,
I don't root against Miami. I'm always rooting for Miami to get to June, to play for as long as they can for my own personal reasons, and I ain't apologizing for it. But they have given me no reason to believe that they'll be playing past April. I know Jimmy Butler can play and has had a better season than people give him credit for, but they have been a roller coaster. They just haven't had it as far as I'm concerned, and I don't expect them to be a problem for Boston. I certainly don't expect Brooklyn to be a problem for Philly, and I damn sure don't expect the 8th seed to be a problem for Milwaukee. So my point to you is this. I'm not worried about any of the top 3 teams in the East. They will be in the second round. They will be in the semifinals of the Eastern Conference. It's that simple.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
I mean,
unless
had,
Kendrick Perkins, they get distracted on road games. Now, that I can't believe. Outside of that, they'll be all right.
You've had your concerns too, right? When it comes down to Joe Mazzulla, right? When it comes down to
but that's
seeing
later
what he's going to bring to
as
the
the
table.
playoffs progress. As the playoffs progress, yes.
Yeah, seeing what he's going to bring to the table. See, I'm looking at everything. I'm looking at how they lost Damon Stoudemire, by the way, well-deserved. He got the head coach's job, I believe it was at Georgia Tech. I'm looking at how he lost him off the bench, who was actually one of those guys that had that relationship with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to hold him accountable to an aspect and allow Joe Mazzulla to be the best version of him.
Yo, Kendrick, what the hell is up with Jaylen Brown getting his hand hurt, messing with plants? What the hell was he doing? Gardening? How? Nah, that's a cause for concern. I forgot about that.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what he was doing, but I do know this. Again, I'm going to tell you, they got to stay away from the Miami Heat. If I'm the Celtics, I do not want to see the Miami Heat in the first round. I'm telling you this.
They can make it interesting, but they going home. They're not beating the Boston Celtics in a 7-game series, in my estimation. I just don't see it. Not this Miami Heat team this year.
They're giving Perk pause, though. We're going to get perked up a little bit later. I like that little graphic we have going. Perk will be back here with us. Maybe when he's going to step in. We got a little NFL to get into, fellas. Perk, talk to you in a moment. To the NFL, where Baltimore finally